For this lesson, we will be still graphing our trig functions, but we will be looking at translations. So remember your translation rules from Algebra 2. The main ones we're going to be looking at are that horizontal and vertical shift. So like other functions, trig functions can be translated given the functions above. H, which is in parentheses, subtracted from x, represents a horizontal shift. And so this is also known as a phase shift. And so if you have a positive h value, it's going to shift to the left. If it is negative, it shifts to the right. So kind of the opposite of how it looks in the function. And then k, which is added to the end in our examples, this represents a vertical shift. And so if your k is positive, you're going to shift up. If your k is negative, you will shift down. In a lot of ways, your stretch and shrink is taken care of with the period and the amplitude of these functions. So that is something that we have already dealt with. So let's go ahead and see if we can spot the transformation in these functions, and then we will look at graphing them. So on number 1 here, we have cosine x plus 2. That plus 2 is the transformation, and since it is added to the end, you are going to shift up 2 units. And then in number 2, you have tangent x minus 1. That minus 1 causes you to shift down 1 unit. And then number 3, we have sine of, and in parentheses, x plus pi over 2. So that plus pi over 2 right there, that is going to cause you to shift to the left pi over 2 units, or in this case, it is going to be 2 blocks. So then on number 4, you have cosine of quantity x minus pi. You are going to shift to the right pi, or 4 blocks on our graphs. So then let's look at midline. So midline is something that happens whenever you shift a graph up or down. So anytime that you shift it vertically, you create a new horizontal axis called the midline. And if you use the patterns to graph, then marking that midline on your graph is a big help, because this is the line around which a graph oscillates. So yesterday we were graphing off of the x-axis, and we were essentially oscillating around that y-axis. Not y-axis, x-axis. So if we shift a graph up, like for example here, we've got sine x plus 4. Our new midline is actually x plus 4. So your midline equation is always going to be y equals k for whatever that shift up or down was. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at graphing some of these. So we're looking first at 3 over 2 sine x plus 3. So we have an amplitude of 3 over 2. And then we have a period that is 2 pi because we do not have a b value. Now our midline is actually going to shift up 3 because we have a vertical shift that sends us up 3 units. So our midline is going to be y equals 3 because that was our k value. Now our phase shift, we actually do not have one this time. So we're just going to mark that as NA. Now to help us out, one thing you can do is you can actually draw yourself a new set of axes. So we did not have any phase shift, so our y-axis does not move. So we have no horizontal movement. But we do move up 3 units. So we're going to move up 3 units from our x-axis. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to draw ourselves that new midline. And then we are going to use this as our new axis. So we are going to go ahead and make our pattern. Since it's sine, it's middle, high, middle, low, middle. And so we start at 0, and then we go to 2 pi. Half of 2 pi is pi. Half of pi is pi over 2. And then we have that low is halfway in between pi and pi over 2, so that's 3 pi over 2. So if it helps, there are 2 blocks in between each of these values. So we gotta start off at 0 because our middles are all 0. Our low is negative 3 over 2 and our high is positive 3 over 2. So instead of going from the x-axis, we're going to use our new x-axis, and we'll start at the middle. We'll go over 2 blocks and go up 1.5 or 3 over 2, over 2 blocks and go to the middle, over 2 blocks and negative 3 pi over 2, and then over 2 blocks and back at the middle. And then for the negative side, I'm just going to continue the pattern. So 2 blocks over, hit the middle, 2 blocks over, go up, 2 blocks over, hit the middle. And we're just going to connect our dots for a nice, pretty, smooth curve. And there we go. So let's look at number 6. So we have the tangent of x plus pi over 2. So in this case, it is tangent, so we do not have amplitude. So we have NA right there. Now our period is pi because we do not have a b value. Our midline is y equals 0 because we don't have any shift up or down. But in this case, we do have a phase shift where we will go left pi over 2. And then we have no vertical shift. So in this case, we are going to keep the x-axis because we have no vertical shift, but we're going to the left pi over 2. So from our y-axis, we're going to go over to the left 2 blocks and draw in that new axis. Okay, so this will be where we place our first middle. And of course, that pattern is middle, asymptote, middle. And we have an x and a y. And we start at 0. We go to pi. Halfway between 0 and pi is pi over 2. So we pretty much have something every 2 blocks again. So we have our middle, 2 blocks, we have an asymptote. 2 blocks, we have a middle. 2 blocks, we have an asymptote. 2 blocks, we have a middle, and then 2 blocks, we have an asymptote. So same thing the other way. We have an asymptote. 2 blocks, we have the middle. 2 blocks, we have the asymptote. So then we're going to draw in our curves. So we do not have a reflection. So we're going to go up as we go to the right. And then down as we go to the left. There we go. All right, so let's look at number 7 here. We're trucking right along today. So we have 3 sine 4 times x minus pi over 2. So our amplitude here is 3. And then our period, we have 2 pi over 4. So we have a period of pi over 2 again. Our midline is going to be y equals 0 because we have no vertical shift. But we do have a phase shift where we are sent to the right, pi over 2. And again, that vertical shift is something that doesn't apply this time. So for new axes, we're going to keep our x-axis because we have no vertical movement. And then we're going to go to the right, pi over 2. So we're going to go over 2 blocks and draw that in. So now let's look at what our pattern looks like. So this is sine. So we have middle, high, middle, low, middle. And then for x and y, so we start out at 0 and then we end at pi over 2. So that means our next middle is in at pi over 4, which is 1 block, because our period is only 2 blocks wide. So that means that halfway through a block at pi over 8 will be at the high, and then at 3 pi over 8 we will be at our low. So since our amplitude is 3, our low is at -3, our high is at +3, and all of our middles are at 0. So we will have a middle point at every single block. So that's where we're going to start drawing things in at. And then halfway in between from our y-axis, our new y-axis, we will be up at 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then halfway in between on the next block, we'll be down 3. So every 2 blocks, we will be at a high. And then if we go from the low, every 2 blocks, 1, 2, 1, 2, we'll be at a low. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, we do have to graph it all. I know some of you guys are going, do we have to? Yes, we do. We need to cover our whole graph. And starting from 0, we're going to go up and then back down. Try to have as smooth of a curve as we can get. And there we go. It's not perfect, but it is there. Okay, so now we're going to up the ante a little bit, and we are going to have a shift in both ways on this problem. So we have cosine. Our amplitude is 1 because we don't have a number in front, but our period, we're going to have 2 pi over 2, so that equals pi. Our midline, we're going to shift up 4, so that puts our midline at y equals 4. And then our phase shift, we're going to go left 3 blocks at 3 pi over 4. So let's go ahead and draw in those axes. This is where it becomes really important. we're going up 4 units. So we have a line at y equals 4. And then we're going to go left 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3. And we have that new vertical axis that is shifted to the left. So this is what we will use. So we have cosine. So that pattern is high, middle, low, middle, high. And so we start off at 0. We're going to end at pi. Halfway between 0 and pi is pi over 2. Half of pi over 2 is pi over 4. And then halfway between pi over 2 and pi over 4 is 3 pi over 4. So each of these gaps is a block. So our high will be at 1, at our low will be at -1, and our high will be at 1 again. And those zeros in the middle are at 0. So we will start at +1 at our new y-axis. Then we'll go to the middle, down to the -1, middle, high, middle, low, middle, high, middle, low, middle, high. On the other side, we will just repeat. And there we go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at number 9. This will be our last problem for today, but we are going to have that shift again of both ways. So we will have an amplitude of 2, and then our period is going to be tangent, it's pi over 1/2, which is 2 pi. Our midline is going to be y equals 1 because we shift up 1 at the end of the equation. And then our phase shift is going to be left pi. So let's go ahead and draw in those new axes. So we're going to the left 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go up 1 unit. So we are going to draw in our axis there. So this is our new 0. This is tangent. So our pattern is middle, asymptote, middle. And so we will start at 0. This period is 2 pi long, so halfway between is pi. We have asymptote, 0 and 0. And so we will start at the middle. We will go over 4 blocks to pi, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and have an asymptote. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a middle, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a pi. Or an asymptote, sorry. And from that axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, have an asymptote. And then we can go ahead and draw in our graph. So we need to go up as we go to the right, down as we go to the left, and up as we go to the right, down as we go to the left. Actually, this amplitude needs to be in A because it's tangent. So the number was there, the blank was there, so I accidentally filled it in.